This looks like a regular smartphone gimbal, but wait, it can track me without a smartphone app? Did DJI just make the perfect smartphone gimbal? Let's inspect. This is how a smartphone gimbal technically works, and we have the so-called pan-follow mode. And obviously today we talk about smartphone gimbals and technology I'm not necessarily a huge fan of because I found some of them really limiting, and truth is that most flagships these days, smartphone flagships have a really good solid video stabilization, but these buddies can be super helpful in certain use cases. And the big thing is that now in 2025, this particular one, the Osmo Mobile 7P, could be really very close to being the perfect one. So I'd like to share with you all the findings and the good sides I've discovered throughout the testing period, and also whether I uncovered any dirty secrets about it, everything that you need to know right now. Let's begin now by exploring the most significant enhancement, namely the cameraman function, because this is exactly what this multifunctional module is doing. Everything that you have to do, and that, by the way, involves the native camera app, meaning that right now I'm using the Galaxy S25 and its inbuilt camera app, not even using the DJI Mimo. I'm just lifting my hand, the gesture for 3 seconds, the green light, and it's already tracking me effortlessly without the need of someone actually doing all these movements. And it's a fantastic use case, something that is definitely going to enhance the work of many people who rely just on a smartphone and a portable smartphone gimbal. Concerning the stabilization performance, this is a DJI product, so it is as good as a smartphone gimbal can perform these days. Easy to switch between the modes, and you can adapt responsiveness and everything via the app. Design and build quality are also a strong side. With smartphone gimbals, I guess there still is no sweet spot. Some of them go really tiny about size, but this often compromises quality or stability. Some others prefer to stay full size, which makes them heavier and not backpack friendly. So I feel that this scale and concept of folding is currently something like the sweet spot. This here is the gimbal, and I'm going to immediately praise the fact there's a carrying pouch included. A little box with accessories as well, a user guide which, even if you skip, you can catch up later on via the smartphone app. The build quality is excellent, mostly plastic. The area around the clamp has metal. There are control buttons, a joystick, a control wheel, pretty well equipped. Inside the accessories box is the so-called multifunctional module, sort of a 3-in-1 device. It can track you, it can act as a fill light, and it can be a receiver for the DJI Mic Mini and gets mounted to the clamp, which via a magnet gets mounted to the gimbal itself. If you're concerned that it may fall down, DJI claim force of 40 Nm, which sounds very reassuring. This time around, the folding mechanism is finally not confusing. The top area of the gimbal is expandable. Oh, and the extra bonus, a stable, integrated tripod, not as wobbly as what you'd get with Insta360 Flow, for example. As for the tech specifications, they sound expected. Osmo Mobile 7P can stabilize in 3 dimensions, supports phones with weight between 170 and 300 grams. There's an inbuilt battery, which in the worst case scenario, with everything turned on, is going to last up to 5 hours. The gimbal can act as a power bank, has a few control buttons, inbuilt Bluetooth 5.3, supports external microphone, and in its maxed out configuration weighs around 370 grams without the phone, and easily talks to it via the DJI Mimo app. Honestly, the specs sound very standard, and that's despite the fact that smartphone gimbals in 2025 can be pretty exciting because this can expand and acts like a selfie stick. Pretty cool. Not something I use all the time. There's also a hidden tripod, which is quite stable. You can place it at any surface that you want as long as it is flat, but nothing that is revolutionary or too different to what the competitors are doing. But add this little module and it changes everything. This camera here can detect you, can follow your gestures and track you, actually instruct the gimbal to track you without the need to use an additional smartphone app. Also, this area here is a fill light, and the whole thing can act as a receiver for the DJI Mic Mini. So apparently DJI are not the first on the market which come up with the idea about AI tracking. However, we know that they're going to significantly refine this kind of technology. Plus, they apparently take advantage of their broader ecosystem by involving a microphone capability. And that's a game changer. Now, if you already feel overwhelmed that there are too many features and they're going to be quite challenging to be controlled, I can assure you that it's a lot simpler than what you expect right now. This here is the power button and the mode switch at the same time. Single press to go to the next available mode, a total of 4 modes that you can cycle between. If you press it 3 times, it's gonna do standby, saves some battery and doesn't bother you with the motors being active. There's a record button, easy to guess what it does by default, but also there are 2 complementary functions. Double press while recording a video takes a photo. The press and hold function is for burst mode. Thoughtful. The switch button is also an important one. It can switch between your phone's cameras. A double press switches between portrait and landscape modes, and the triple press switches between photo and video mode. The purpose of the joystick is clear, the zoom slider as well. The side wheel can be used for focusing or zooming in and out, and I definitely prefer it about zooming instead of the slider. And last but not least, there's a trigger button. Has a few functions, the most important out of which is the double press option in order to recenter the gimbal, and the triple press to rotate horizontally by 180 degrees. The battery life is, in my opinion, sufficient. Never felt threatened by getting the battery exhausted, but I remind you that I'm not a heavy gimbal user. Here, DJI are generous about finding ways to recharge your smartphone, because presumably it is the one which will drain the battery faster. Depending on what and how you use it, up to 10 hours per charge are possible with Osmo Mobile 7P. With the multifunctional module, expectedly the running times are gonna be shorter. If you want to go for more tricks, then you might want to take a look at the smartphone app. Let's make a quick tour with the DJI Mimo. As a starter, it is a very powerful set of software and something that DJI use for managing most of their action-oriented gear. It's very function-rich and rather creator-friendly, because besides the regular shooting modes, it can effectively teach you and train you to do some more tricks with the gimbal and get to have some absolutely cool shots. I'd say perfect integration with iPhones. For Android devices, it is also good, with a big remark that for some models, you may not be able to utilize the maximum frame rates for video recording. But remember, you can rely on the multifunctional module and your phone's native camera app. If any firmware updates appear, and this will for sure occur on a regular basis, they are being pushed via the app as well. DJI Mimo is also a good start for editing your shots and videos. The software is a key strength for DJI, and all these controls and possibilities and features with Mimo are well in line with this tradition. Yeah, lots of good features. So can we think now of any drawbacks? Technically, yes, if we seek for perfection, because Osmo Mobile 7P is not waterproof. The Mimo app has certain resolution limits with certain Android devices, and I wish to have a hard shell case option too. Oh, and unlimited panning, and a second quarter-inch thread, please. And yet, from 2025 technological perspective, I feel this can be called the perfect smartphone gimbal. Well, maybe in a year or 2 from now, technology is going to evolve enough so that we get certain enhancements that would make us like another device even more, but I feel that for the next few months, there's got to be nothing which would be in the capacity to beat the Osmo Mobile 7 or 7P with the multifunctional module. Do you agree or disagree, or do you have any other suggestions about the perfect smartphone gimbal? Let's talk about all of this in the comment section below the video. Thanks a lot for watching this episode till the end. If any questions or anything you'd like to share, comments area is the right place to address it. If you want to check more details about DJI's new Osmo Mobile line, it's all in the video description area. Thanks for watching. I'm the Tech Mishka. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.